waiting for you over here.
A variety show. You know what? I have to tell you, the shoes, these are not my shoes.
Right.
These are from the model's room because I forgot my own shoes at home. So I'm having
trouble. I often forget my shoes.
I'm having trouble
How do you
walking
leave home without your
in
shoes?
these shoes. So that's why I'm going to be a little pokey tonight because my shoes.
I'm trying to understand.
Saw me. I was walking down the hall and my shoe flew off my foot.
Did you just leave home barefoot or something?
Well, no, but I had on my big like bear paw boots because it's freezing in here. So that's why I didn't want to wear those with my skirt. I thought that's just not going to be cute.
I'm not wearing my bear paw boots tonight. I left those at home.
Okay, if worst case scenario, I'm going to be going barefoot out here. Okay,
yes.
So we'll just
as opposed to bare paws, barefoot.
There you go. All right, let's move along here. Up next. Okay, this is fun. We talked about this briefly last weekend because the vitamin D3 is one that is an essential vitamin. Andrew has talked about this over the years, that it's one of the most important vitamins to supplement, period, right?
Not one of. I probably put it at the top of the list right there with, oddly enough, with something that most people haven't heard of, vitamin K2. I think vitamin K2 and vitamin D are the two most important vitamins, more important than vitamin C and vitamin E, both of which are extremely important. But vitamin D is something, we don't feature it on its own. I don't think we featured vitamin D on its own for probably a year or two because we have been giving bonus vitamin D in our Essential 1 and bonus vitamin D in our CoQ. But I've been requested for those of you who want to buy separate vitamin D just to supplement what you might get in Essential 1 or CoQ or just want to get vitamin D on its own. Our vitamin D is incredibly affordable, less than a dime a capsule in the large sizes, and you choose the potency. It's the same price, whether you want 1,000 or 2,000. But as I've said for the better part of 30 plus years, and finally, the physicians in the medical community have caught up, I've said that everyone should know their vitamin D level. Just as we know our cholesterol level, just as we might know our blood sugar level, we should know our vitamin D level because our vitamin D level is something that we should move through life with it in a healthy range. Because if you read the science and research and clinical studies and epidemiology, those in the population who move through life with healthy vitamin D levels have wonderful health benefits associated with it. Those who do not, just the opposite applies. So you want to have healthy vitamin D levels. You want to know what your vitamin D levels are. The typical person needs to take at least 1,000 IU a day. Generally, it's going to be 3,000 to 5,000 IU, and if you're overweight, it will have to be a little bit more.
There you go. I want to show you what the choices are, and as Andrew just pointed out, it's the same price whether you want 1,000 IU or 2,000 IU. So it's a 60, a 180, a 360, or a 720 cap. Nice big 720 size here if you really want to stock up on this. Here's where the pricing will be going. Isn't it wonderful how affordable this is? For $69.90, you are getting 720 capsules, which is fantastic.
Less than a dime a capsule, and here I could show everyone. It's a teeny tiny capsule. It's a little capsule. I mean, if you're just going to swallow one teeny tiny capsule a day, this would have to be at the top of someone's list.
Absolutely.
I mean, some people are going to say it should be CoQ10, but certainly vitamin D, I wouldn't be saying, and doctors wouldn't be saying, they wouldn't be testing your vitamin D levels to know what that level is if it wasn't critically important to so many functions in our body. And again, we all want to be a member of a certain class, and the member of that class is those of us moving through life with healthy vitamin D levels. And it's something that's achieved simply by taking certainly more than 1,000 IU daily. I recommend I take about 4,000 IU daily, but certainly 1,000, 2,000 is a great place to start. It will start getting your levels into the proper range. Unfortunately, if you look at the general population in America or in Western countries, and you look at individuals not supplementing vitamin D, you're going to find that roughly all of them, 80, 90, 100% of them are vitamin D deficient or insufficient. And the reason why is there is no real food source of vitamin D, and sun exposure is no longer an adequate stimulus for synthesizing the vitamin D we require.
Did you say that, I mean, most Americans, if you're not supplementing vitamin D, are vitamin D deficient? Didn't you say it's not even an epidemic, it's a pandemic?
It's referred to as a pandemic. And you could read study after study after study. And I've always said when I talk about vitamin D, it's a public service announcement. And even at 2,000 IU a day, that large bottle, you get the large bottle, 2,000 IU, that's about 2 years of vitamin D for less than a dime a day. And even if you just took 2,000 IU every other day, that's going to average to 1,000 a day. That's 4 years of vitamin D, and you're getting that basic level of 1,000 IU. I've always had a minimum of 1,000 IU in all my multivitamins since I started my company 39 years ago. And that's something that I caught a lot of flack for back in the day, saying that's too much, it's toxic. Now, of course, countries all over the world have changed their basic level to 1,000 or 2,000 IU daily as their basic level. In our country, we lag behind a little bit, but unfortunately, most of us are moving through life, if we're not supplementing vitamin D, with insufficient or absolutely deficient levels. I have review charts here. I could find probably a couple of hundred here that talk about going to the doctor, and instead of seeing healthy levels of 50 or 60 or 70, they were having levels of 7 or 8 or 15 or 20, which is the typical vitamin D level you'll find in America if you're not supplementing.
And you know, it's interesting, if you have a minute, go read some of those reviews, because on hsn.com, there's approximately 1,900 reviews. Of that, almost 1,700 are perfect 5-star. So out of 1,900 approximately, 1,700 are perfect 5-star. You add the 4 stars in, you have close to 1,900 of the 1,964 reviews are perfect. Your average on this is a 4.8 out of a perfect 5-star review.
It's well over 95% positive reviews.
Yep.
And it's a product that there could be, it's in my mind the perfect vitamin D product. It's a tiny, teeny, tiny capsule. You could always open the capsule and empty that quantity of powder onto foods or things like that. It would be fine in a smoothie or juice or oatmeal, whatever you would like. But you're not going to find a vitamin that delivers more wide-ranging benefits, because vitamin D functions as more than just a coenzyme function that the role a typical vitamin plays in our body. It actually plays a role more as a pro-hormone, and it affects our nervous system. If you look at our brain, which we'll be talking about when we talk about Ultimate Eye, the highest concentration of vitamin D receptors are found in the highest functioning areas of the brain, which is fascinating, that even vitamin D is viewed as something that's critically important for thinking, for mood, for having a balanced mood. It's obviously critically important for calcium absorption. There's such wide-ranging benefits to vitamin D, yet if you look at most Americans, we're deficient or insufficient unless we're supplementing. And again, it's one of those vitamins. Tonight when we talk about Ultimate Eye, I could talk about eating spinach and kale and green leafy vegetables to get your lutein or zeaxanthin. When it comes to vitamin D, it's either a supplement or a fortified food. There isn't a natural source, an adequate source of vitamin D. In fact,
except the sun.
Well, the sun isn't a source. We're staying out of the sun. As we get older, our skin doesn't synthesize vitamin D well from the sun anyhow.
Right.
So we're not running around, partially clad out in the sun. So but that's why you just look at the research, and there's studies that will say 100% of those tested were deficient or insufficient vitamin D.
Wow.
It's a scary situation, but it is the most affordable and the simplest vitamin to take. All right,
I know we have to wrap it up. We have all the sizes for you. If you need to really stock it, get the big size. I'm reminding you, pick 1,000 or 2,000 IU. The price is the same, so it's really dependent on how much you'd like to take each day, or if you're already getting some vitamin D and some of your other vitamins. So there you have it. We're gonna scoot on over here.